Hello everybody, got a new one today, again Salford history. There's an interesting place called Land of Nod in Weast, sort of the Weast Seedley boundary, which has always intrigued me whenever I've seen references to it. I've never really understood why, like, where would you get that name, and all those things, so I've looked into it a little bit. It's pretty interesting. So firstly, the Land of Nod, it features in the Bible. It's where Cain is sent after murdering Abel, where apparently, according to some sources, Nod in Hebrew relates to a word that to us is wanderer, or kind of wasteland. It's likely, therefore, that the origins of the name came from the fact that this was once in the middle of nowhere. It was once a wasteland in and of itself. Of course, it isn't now. It's in the middle of Salford. There's no wasteland around it, really. And it also links to where Weast might have got its name. If you kind of transpose the word Weast a little, you get waste. So it's possible that that name actually came from the Land of Nod, that somebody somewhere hundreds of years ago referred to Weast as Land of Nod, wasteland, like all interchangeable, all the same. So what I have on the screen here is the 1848 map of Salford area. It's the earliest map I could find. So you can already see Lower Seedley Road there, and going into Gore Avenue and Derby Road. And where we see the Lower Land of Nod there is approximately the link between Chandos Grove and Derby Lane. So if I move on to the next photograph. So here we have the 1894 map. You can clearly see, well, at the time it's Seedley Park, but basically that becomes Buell Hill Park. It's the lower end of it that's visible to the north of the map. And there's the Land of Nod again on Derby Road, now marked out. And there's a little offshoot road just to the south of the Land of Nod, going left to right. And that is what will eventually become Chandos Grove. But as you can see, at the minute, there aren't really any houses or anything around it. Let's move on to the next one. So here we have the 1906 map. Again, Land of Nod clearly referenced. You've got St Luke's Church, Derby Road is on there. Some of the terraced housing, such as on Lyndhurst Street and Annie Street, has gone in, but Chandos Grove still hasn't been created. Looks like it's really just farmland off to the left there. But the Land of Nod still clearly present. Now we're really starting to see the kind of current area take shape. So Land of Nod's still there, but to the south you've got Cedric Street, Martin Street. Chandos Grove has now been built. There's housing to the south of the Land of Nod that's still there. I mean, basically some of the terraced housing's still there. There's still plenty that isn't, and to the northwest it still appears to be fields or farmland. And this is in 1923, so this is actually not too long ago, about 100 years ago. So I'm actually going to show you now the two photographs that I've managed to find, which look like or marked as the Land of Nod, references the Land of Nod in Salford, well, specifically in Weast. I think this first photograph, which is undated, is the easiest to get one's kind of orientation from. It looks to me as though we're on the sort of southeast of the Land of Nod, on Derby Road, looking up towards Buell Hill Park, up the road. And if I show you the current nowadays view of the same image, hopefully that might help. One thing that I have found interesting is that if you go to the corner of that road now and look up at the house on the corner there, it says Park Villas 1876. Obviously Park Villas isn't Land of Nod, and Land of Nod, as it was on the maps, existed for another 50 years after 1876, basically, until some of it at least got knocked down. Now, if you look at the modern photograph and compare it, it doesn't really look like it's the same building to me. I mean, the pitch of the roof's completely changed. There's an extra floor to the roof, seems to have gone on the sort of terraced house cottages to the back on the north side. They don't appear to be there, or if they are there, they've been built out forward so that it's lying flush with the face of the corner house, and the where they used to look like they were possibly even bungalows, or at least kind of sunken houses, that just isn't the case. The eaves height across the entire thing is the same. So I don't know whether it's a date stone or something like that that was taken from the Land of Nod, and it was renamed as Park Villas or something, but it doesn't really seem to make sense to me what that link is. I'd be grateful if anyone can point it out, because it stumped me. And here we have another one. This again is listed as the Land of Nod. It's actually dated as 1909, and you can see a couple of kids outside the sort of picket type fencing. It seems pretty clear to me this is the same building or set of structures that I've previously shown. And I think this time we're looking from further north up Derby Road, looking slightly down west-southwest onto the Land of Nod. These cottages, my opinion is they've gone. I think that kind of backs up what the maps were showing as well. So unfortunately, it's no more. And this is the view from nowadays, the same view as I believe it to be, to give some orientation. And then finally, the last thing to say is that there's a sort of an artwork installation called The Land of Nod, which is on Lower Seedley Road just before it becomes Gore Avenue, and I'll show you a couple of photographs from that now, which obviously then the name is taken from these cottages that were demolished in the 19th century, and apparently the bricks used to lay a grand carriageway in the park itself, in Buell Hill Park. But yeah, I think just an interesting one, this one. Strange name, and obviously not really any evidence of it anymore. Luckily we've got the maps, we've got a couple of photographs, but that's all we've got. So if anyone has any more anecdotes or information, please post it below. Please let us know. I'd be very, very interested to hear it. Okay, thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye.